Culture can be defined as all the ways of life, including arts, beliefs, and institutions of a populations that are passed down from generation to generation.
Culture is the characteristics and knowledge of a particular group of people, encompassing language, religion, cuisine, social habits, music, and arts. Culture encompasses religion, food, what we wear, how we wear it, our language, marriage, music, what we believe is right or wrong, how we sit at a table, how we greet visitors, how we behave with loved ones, and a million other things. Culture appears to have become key in our interconnected world, which is made up of so many ethnically diverse societies, but also riddled by conflicts associated with religion, ethnicity, ethical beliefs, and essentially the elements which make up culture. Derusi said, but culture is no longer fixed. If it ever was, it is essentially fluid and constantly in motion. This mix is so that it is difficult to define any culture in only one way. So there are two concepts of culture, which is ethnocentric and the xenocentric. From the word ethno means ethnicity. Ethnocentric is holding your own cultural beliefs and practices above those of others. It is also not being able to think outside of your own cultural lens to see a situations from a different perspective. So, for example, if this is knowing what is okay to eat and what is not. In American culture, it is seen as absolutely disgusting if a person eat a dog or a cat. However, other cultures do eat them without hesitations. Conversely, in India, many people will never eat beef and think that eating beef is a horrible thing to do. Culture is the correct way to do a particular thing is ethnocentrism. So let's proceed to xenocentrism. Xenocentrism is the preference for other people's cultural practices, which entails how they live, what they ate, rather than of one's own way of life. To illustrate, the belief that the way of dress by another culture is significantly superior and that those within one's native country should adopt that the same dress. Acculturation is one of the several forms of culture contact and has a couple of closely related terms, including assimilations and amalgamations. Although all three of these words refer to changes due to contact between different cultures, there are notable differences between them. Acculturation is often tied to a political conquest or expansion and is applied to the process of change in beliefs or traditional practice that occurs when the cultural system of one group displaces that of another. Assimilations refers to the process through which individuals and groups of differing heritages acquire the basic habits, attitudes, and made of life of an embracing culture. Amalgamations refers to a blending of cultures, rather than one group eliminating another acculturations or one group mixing itself another assimilations. So, what is acculturation? In short, acculturation is the sharing of different cultural traits, generally through contact. It can happen to an individual making contact with a different culture and adopting some of their norms and sharing theirs with them. Or it can happen to cultural groups who make contact. Think of Europeans and Native Americans sharing cultural traits after first contact. Tobacco, firearms, corn, religion, and etc. Assimilations. In anthropology and sociology, the process whereby individuals or groups of differing ethnic heritage are absorbed into the dominant culture of a society. Like, for example, cultural assimilations occur when a group is introduced to a new culture and adapt things, like language or style of dress. For example, if you move to a new country with many different religious traditions, you may start to practice this as this new culture begins to influence you. Amalgamations. Amalgamations refers to the process of mixing two cultures to create a new culture. It is often described as a more balanced type of cultural interactions than the process of cultural assimilations. Like, for example, The Mexican of Chinese food we find in India is different from the food actually available in Mexico and China. The Mexican and Chinese cuisine has blended or amalgamated with Indian food culture. Acculturation is one of the several forms of culture contact and has a couple of closely related terms, including assimilations and amalgamations. Although all three of these words refer to changes due to contact between different cultures, there are notable differences between them. Acculturation is often tied to a political conquest or expansion and is applied to the process of change in beliefs or traditional practice that occurs when the cultural system of one group displaces that of another. Assimilations refers to the process through which individuals and groups of differing heritages acquire the basic habits, attitudes, and made of life of an embracing culture. Amalgamations refers to a blending of cultures, rather than one group eliminating another acculturations or one group mixing itself another assimilations. So, how does culture affect the development? Hmm, it can dictate the type of food we eat, the language we speak, the clothes we wear, and the way we behave both at home and in public. Culture also influences our beliefs and values. It dictates what we consider to be important and how we should behave in order to be considered good members of our society.